Yeah, I think so too. By the way, Penny, there was quite an important question in the chat that I would like to read out to you.
Sure, yeah.
Why does everyone say that Penny carries Greenspirit in their duos when Spirit is always the one getting MVP and boosted Penny to Legend and to a season goal that Penny cried about that he could not reach on his own?
Well, I'm very glad you asked that question, Green. There's obviously a very obvious solution to the question, a very obvious answer to the question, which is that I enable the shit out of you every time we play, right? So I'm always putting pressure on your opponent while you've just got auto send switched on, and like my guy's leaking every wave, and your guy's getting fed, and I have to stay low workers and high value because I'm getting the big sends, and you're just there feeding while I enable, and then of course you end up with the MVP badge. But you know, that's just what I love you, dude.
You don't enable people with a 3-angler 2-worker opener.
You don't?
Yes, sadly, that's just not how it works.
Well, then I must have been getting it wrong the whole time, dude. Anyway, enough of that, I say. It's time for the grand finals. Let's
go. Oh, we can already see Castle on Widder. Not going for the double greed easy with snack.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine it's cash out from Shea and then maybe greed from XGod.
Yeah. Widderson has what we in the business refer to as a roll.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He's got options for days. We do have a cash out from Shea, who can, of course, do the fabled boar opener on wave 1.
Yeah, true.
Quite strong on 1, and that's about it.
I think it can normally hold wave 2 as well.
Yeah, it doesn't do horribly there,
yeah. Ooh.
Right, I am just filling in.
So.
He does have a decent roll to scale with.
Yeah.
Not the most optimal nightmare setup, but...
Oh yeah, I don't think that it's a too great nightmare setup.
He actually might have a better one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably have to settle for Garg +1 or a Warg, I guess.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he's absolutely fine with that. I also like that King and Widder kind of learned from their first match. I feel like going double greed in the first game puts you at a slight disadvantage, right? Exactly. Like in case you run. Oh. Wow. Oh wow. I'm kind of confused about the bazooka being so far behind, but maybe I'm just not getting something. Yeah.
It's not optimal for later, but in terms of holding 2 to its nail, I would imagine this would get it done.
Oh yeah.
I wonder he didn't send on 2.
It's still pretty good for Shea and XGod since they have the worker lead here.
And Widder realizing to not go 6 workers with this build. Good call.
Ooh, the 80 on XGod and like the brute going
my god.
on the nightmare.
That aggro.
Ooh. Yeah, we can see a leak here too, though. Like, yeah, leak here too. Like, at least we have one semi-competent player here being able to hold wave 3. Shea showing us what's up.
Shea didn't get the memo, they're going for the sad hopper card? Yeah. I would like to see maybe upper split here so the Seraphim isn't spending its whole time hitting a DT. Oh, but it's a full send anyways. He's shifting a little bit, but he has pretty insane units for the wave.
I've also just realised that I'm pretty sure I've been muted since I made the scoreboard because my 0 key is my mute key. And I had to write 0 to type out the scoreboard.
Thanks for the improvement.
Yeah. Like, professional caster, by the way.
Thanks on the behalf of the viewers for improving the cast by doing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, great hold by Shea. Like
playing insane.
Yeah, the aggro shed there was pretty good.
Yeah, that was nice.
8 workers. Like, to be honest, he could be 9 if he really felt like it, but
yeah, and he's ahead.
And here's that
safe gaming.
Yeah,
it's that pressure that we're talking about. Shea and XGod both on 100 Mythium. Kingdanzz and Widderson really starting to feel it here.
I feel like this is gonna be a long staff if he's all building like that. Like I don't feel like
Shea has the fabled Lifesteal Bone Crusher, by the way. Is there any stronger combo in the game?
Like the region and the lifesteal together.
Like that thing's just never dying. Especially when
especially when it's never tanking.
Yeah. Insane combo play there from
This wave is gonna take about 4 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Widderson is going for a double brute send though against XGod on 6, and if XGod and Shea continue their save, that might leave XGod pretty vulnerable next wave.
Yeah, we'll see. Luckily, Shea is not getting a set.
Yeah, Shea is getting a Zeus here, so it's pretty fine. It's just kind of an issue that the Crusher is not tanking.
Yeah, it's usually a problem when you leave the Crusher on the wall. Like on 5, if you have a range unit with Crusher on the wall, it's usually a grief because he usually sits right behind them and hits the boss and tanks nothing.
Yeah, true.
XGod is a bit doomed here.
And King did.
I think they're very fine. Yeah, they're very fine with XGod leaking here though, since they won 7.
Yeah, and that's going to be ogres on 7, both.
Yeah.
And King, he hardened his Mudman here just to like add the insult to injury. He's going to be super, super weak. His one like possible chance would have been to go for a shift here on 6 and get that Trinity Archer out. But without doing that, I mean, he probably just has to add a second small archer, and it's just not going to be close to enough against an ogre.
They just smashed the ogre button. Pretty impossible to deal with that guy on 7.
Yep. And Shea, of course, covering his teammate in the mid, so there won't be any damage dealt against the King here. This is pretty solid start to the game by XGod and Shea.
Yeah, getting that early lead.
Oh. There are 2 brutes from King against Shea, but I think he's just...
Oh, he sold something. So King did what Kid K failed to do in the game 3 of the previous game. He sold one of his pixies and used it to upgrade the Trinity Archer. So
he went for some Swedish pawn shop.
He went for some Swedish pawn shop, sure, which hurts more on 7 than it does on 14, but it's going to give him at least a chance to kill most of the blobs.
Alpha Male is a good answer to the ogre, but yeah, the Alpha Male is going to have some trouble with the wave. Yeah. But it is tanking the ogre, so pretty good positioning to at least let his arcane tanks avoid
and in fact,
ogre.
the ogre's the only thing on the Alpha Male. That's about the best aggro that Widderson could possibly hope for, I think.
Oh yeah.
Kingdanzz going 92%, even with his Swedish pawn shop.
Yeah, that really hurts because the economic damage is just insane.
This is going to be some damage now against the king.
Massive damage. Yeah.
2 full HP ogres near enough. Not enough king upgrades to make any difference.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what Jules has got to say about the state of the game after this one, because I think he's going to be very pleased with how XGod and Shea are playing this one.
If Widder didn't have that aggro, he might have just died.
Yeah. He might just be dead here, yeah.
Another super long wave, XGod and Shea on insane workers.
Let's take a look at Widderson's positioning, actually. It's just standard positioning. He just has his units in the aura shape, and he was just skilled enough to make the ogre and nothing else on the alpha mill. Pretty solid.
Yeah. Yeah. And look at how ahead Shea and XGod are.
Yeah.
Just insane.
Oh yeah. 74% from Jules. Shea on fire. I don't think Shea's ever been on fire before in his Legion career.
Yeah. I'm also very surprised.
He's also not the cartel player, so he's keeping his scaling forever.
Yeah, Shea is playing this exceptionally well.
Mm-hmm.
Really flexing the cash out with Crusher. Like, it's so impressive if you get ahead of
he really made the most out of that early game advantage that you get with cash out.
Definitely. Like his wave 4 was very clean.
Yeah. But maybe some uncharacteristic mistakes from King and Widderson as well, like the full send from Widderson on 6 when Kingdanzz didn't send. That just gave Shea and XGod a very long wave where Shea could easily cover XGod's leak. I mean, sure, XGod was punished there, but it doesn't matter if there's no king damage dealt. And that just gave them a really long wave for those ogres on 7.
Yeah, but Shea would have also never leaked on 6, I think.
We have another Harden.
Yeah, not going to be too big a difference because Golem's not insane on 10, but if they do choose to go 10, which would
it's
kind of weird, but...
It's still a 400 gold unit while you are on like 1000.
Yeah, I think King and Widderson want them to go 10 though, because that's Widderson's best wave, and he's on value.
Very strong there.
I mean, Widderson's on value, but he's on value while having 7 workers. So, sure, Castle's about to kick in, but he's pretty far behind.
Yeah, I would rather assume it's an 11 cent, to be honest, but...
Nope. And that's an ogre from Shea.
Yeah.
That is quite strong. We'll see if the Alpha Mill can tank it again, but... like, if they leak at all, they're dead, so...
And Kingdanzz is saving his Mythium. Is he saving it for next game? Will we see a 4 eyes on 1?
Oh, there you go for some King regen from Widder and...
Yeah, this kind of looks like a save for next game, to be honest.
It feels like it, right?
Oh, here come the King ups, okay.
Alright, so Kingdanzz putting 240 Mythium into King upgrades there, but with only 13% King HP, like, the King upgrades are not going to save them if there's anything more than the tiniest leak reaching that King.
Yeah.
And look at this, all of the brutes and the moles staying alive in King's lane, soaking up those archers' arrows. This is going to be GG. Let's have a look at Widderson's lane. He's leaking as well. This is game.
Already. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow. Yeah.
XGod and Shea. Impressive stuff there, guys. Very impressive.
After the Harden and with the long wave, I think they just felt very sure to kill them there, and they were right.
Just look at this win probability graph. Like, XGod and Shea were just ahead from start to finish. It was never in doubt, according to Jules.
Oh, yeah. Those long early waves, leak on 1, leak on 2, and then everyone leaking on 3 besides Shea, like Shea, and then he's getting income set the whole game, or whole early game. Like, he really took over.
Yeah, Shea 6 workers on 2, and then still holding 3 against 60. Pretty good. 7 workers holding another 60, 8 workers.
Yeah, and then just baby leaking on 7.
Yeah, and here I have to call this out as a mistake from Widderson here. This 140 send against XGod on 6. Like, maybe it's good if Kingdanzz sends as well, and then they can get some damage against the King, get some gold for their wave 7 hold. But like this, it just makes wave 6 really, really long. They don't get any King damage in, And there's just this guaranteed massive leak from both of them on 7 then because of this. And like we said, we saw like pretty much the perfect aggro in Widderson's lane with that ogre 1v1ing the alpha male. Like if that ogre goes pretty much anywhere else, or even if some of the blobs help the ogre on the alpha male, they probably just straight up die on 7.
Yeah, and it was...
Yeah, I guess Widow was afraid of 6, but yeah, like, Shea is never leaking 6, and on 7 they might have gotten some king damage as well if they both sent there.
Imagine if it was 260, like, the ogre going right would just end the hold.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If he could have just managed to get that brute out on 7, the ogre just shreds through those green devils in a matter of seconds and then goes back left, and that's all she wrote. Yeah, this was super close. But then we just see them end the game on 10, which was Widderson's strongest wave, and Kingdanzz wasn't bad there either, but he obviously hardened on 9, and it wasn't close. The leaks were far too big.
Yeah.
So we do have a 1-0 advantage on the side of Canadian Star. So these guys playing pretty damn well.
I think we might see a double greed from King and Widder now.
Yeah. I mean, back to their roots, right? They just want to get their win on the table. They don't want to let it slide. We did see Kira and Lucy do that in Game 2 against Doofus and L1 yesterday. Like, they lost the first match, and then they just wanted to get a win on the table, so they went for their double greed, and it still wasn't enough. Doofus and L1 just crushed it. Yeah. So let's see if Shea and XGod can do the same. That's if they manage to pressure Kingdanzz and Widderson onto the double greed in the first place.
Penny is... They're asking if it's a confirmed, if it's a best of 5, and if it's all 3 conquest nests, which I think it is.
Yes, just to confirm. So Conquest will run throughout, which means as soon as you've won with one of the Mastermind options, you can't play it again. So Shea and XGod will not be able to play with Cash Out on Shea, and I believe it was it agreed on XGod?
Cartel on XGod.
Cartel on XGod, okay. Alright, so it looks like we're ready for game number 2. But Shea and XGod, that was super impressive. Like, if they keep that pace up, I think they might just take this trophy home today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they have some... Like, I saw XGod played Cash Out against us yesterday. Maybe something from Shea is either going to be Greed or YOLO, which he likes playing.
Alright, game number 2 is underway. We have a YOLO from Widderson, we have a Greed from Kingdanzz, so they were not pressured into the double Greed, at least, which I like. Kingdanzz has the filthiest roll I have ever seen in my life, by the way. Jesus, okay. Let's swap scenes. The folks at home...
Widder's YOLO roll is... It kind of just looks like King's Greed roll from last game.
It's pretty impressive.
A Cash Out, and Shea going for the Greed.
Yeah, so XGod obviously going to go for that boar opener here with his Cash Out.
Or the Violet opener.
I mean, the Cash Out flower is just so strong.
It really is, actually. Like, easy 6 workers.
It's just so strong.
And he's got Gargoyle and Consort as well, so he's going to be pretty solid on 3 and 4.
It's options. Like, I wouldn't hate...
It could also be a Gargoyle Consort opener.
Yeah.
Hey, Shea's going for an egg, by the way.
Spicy.
So XGod going for... He's not taking the flower, actually. He's going with the Green Devil instead.
Yeah, but that was also an option. I'm a bit surprised by it, but it's also strong.
If that Zerka was a nightmare, that roll would be beyond filthy.
Kingdanzz did not take the Disciple in his role. I guess he's just, like, he's got too much synergies. And I think the Tempest and the Halo is just fine with the ball.
Yeah, I think it's better like this, to be honest.
Like, it would have been too greedy if he picked up the Disciple as well, right? Because he just wouldn't have had any early game.
The Tempests are insane early right now.
They really are, yeah. And the Sea Dragon is nuts as well for the early.
It's 2 Tempests, a Garg, like, is leaking like very small to 40 on 3.
Yeah. You just kind of don't need the Disciple. You have the Tempests, you want the Tempests anyway, and there you pierce already. Like, it's just a bit overloaded to pick the Disciple just to buff. Halo.
Is Shea going to go for the Cursed Casket on wave 3? Because he'll need to get the positioning right. But I think if he gets the positioning right, it's going to be extremely strong.
He's going to snack on the snail.
Or juicy. I mean, the wave's going to be long, but XGod won't leak because he
might just push. He might just push and go for an infiltrator now.
Yeah, he might.
Yeah, XGod flexing his cash out using 2 buzzes to guarantee that he holds. Like
Widderson going 6 workers, by the way, the second he sees that egg.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's a good
Shea push. Yeah. He's going for the infiltrator.
I wonder if King will think about going for a ghost income.
Oh, he goes for the snails.
Yeah.
So that should be a full egg from Shea unless he messes up his positioning on the infiltrator. Let's go for a snail send on Shea.
Can't get
with
60
the fire
though,
archer, though, I
or
think
40.
Widderson's going to be just fine.
Yep.
Kingdanzz is actually looking pretty weak here, but XGod decides not to send. He will go for that double dragon turtle on wave 4, I think, where Kingdanzz looks very weak.
Oh my lord.
Oh my lord.
Okay,
okay. I thought he was going for a backland pixie.
Yeah.
I was already getting very worried.
Honestly, using the seedling, like, that might have, like... I wonder if you can, like, have positioning where, like, 2 or 3 seedlings is holding with the egg.
Probably, because seedling DPS is actually insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very cost-effective unit in terms of damage.
And we're on 7 workers now.
Yeah. So Widderson absolutely abusing the slow start from Shea here, going 7 workers during wave 3. Now Shea, he does get his full Hydra out of this, so it's a trade.
King is absolutely fucked.
Oh yeah, like King is screwed here. The double turtle is insane, and XGod can get the snail as well, which should push both of the turtles left into his Tempest, into his Sea Dragon. King does get a warg, though. That's something.
Yeah, flex his APM with the reroll.
Oh, wow.
But, I mean, King's aggro is pretty good.
Yeah.
There's some hope to not leak the whole wave.
Copium.
He has got the perfect split there on his 2 Tempests, but he has another heal, but it just won't be enough.
Yeah.
If you're getting double DT and income against planes on 3, it's a bit of a nightmare. Or 4, it's a bit of a nightmare.
And here's the thing, right? That's a 50% leak from Kingdanzz versus an income send while he was 400 value. Like, that's about as bad as it gets for your early game.
Yeah, and the long wave, well, XGod and Shea are ahead in workers again.
It is just spamming income. Trying to scale up a bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, now he has a worker lead. So Widderson, he got the worker advantage early, but now he's behind both Shea and XGod.
Yeah, we were talking about Shea being the Canadian Staff Lord enabling XGod, but now the roles are reversed from what we would have assumed.
Ooh, flexing some nice positioning, giving up his archer, but you know he has a backup archer.
Yeah, and the magic damage out of the fire archer is actually not to be sniffed at on wave 5. It killed the Scorpion King pretty quickly, which is like the most important thing on this wave.
I would imagine we're seeing a straight 7 from Widder and King targeting the Hydra and the Infiltrator.
Yeah, 100%. And
we see there's a casket.
Really weak.
Yeah. I would assume XGod to be saving till then too.
Yeah, I would assume XGod also needs to hit the reroll button to try and find pierce damage.
Yeah, XGod hasn't got a single unit for wave 7. Like, Shea has options. He can shift here to go for a Millennium.
He's going here.
But is XGod now just falling into the trap that Widderson did in game number 1?
Yeah.
Because if Kingdanzz, he might leak here, but that's just good for Kingdanzz and Widderson if he does. A long wave before they send. Yeah. But King's actually building up here. 570 value.
Not the best units here.
Yeah, he's not the greatest.
I don't like the DTs personally because you want the Tempest to get
sending full.
3 DT. Yeah. But this combo is insane value. The Sea Dragon and the Green Devil early is just nuts amounts of HP.
Yeah, and XGod went for a Violet, expecting the send here.
Yeah, So XGod is dead on 7. And Shea, did he shift? He didn't. He went for the casket, so he's preparing for 7. He'll be decent there with the casket. Widderson leaks 50% to nothing, though? And Kingdanzz 61%, okay.
So we were flaming the scent,
yeah.
They're just donating money to them.
Apparently so, yeah. Like, Widderson needed to hold here to be able to cover Kingdanzz's leak, and then it would have just been insanely in their favor to skip here.
Yeah, not to make him king, and they'll be like reasonably fine.
And Widderson didn't even get to the ogre there. He was 2 Mythium short.
Come on, guys. The mental pressure of a no send is bigger than you might think. It can just crush your lane sometimes.
But imagine if Shea had just income sent on 6.
Yeah, like again. Yeah. Also, I don't want to harp on it too much, but I do think like Dino DT would have been a better or something like that.
Yeah.
These aren't that good against Tempest on melee waves.
So
now let's have a look at these 200
new
then.
Power will be showcasted here.
Yeah, Iron Maiden, let's see it go.
Good enough.
Oh, he just shreds the wave 7 creeps.
Yeah.
That's 1 spell.
The Mimic is on it now, though, after the Hydra died, but it's not enough. Like, the spells are just killing the entire
Jesus.
Wave. Yeah, the 3rd spell is just going to clear everything but the Mimic.
Yeah.
This unit is insane, actually, on 7. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to finish
he leaks, but he's leaking a Mimic and a Blob. Now, the good thing is that Mimic got 15 gold, so that's something. But XGod, he barely leaks himself.
0 king damage, basically.
Yeah.
Like, while they starve themselves and leak very hard on 6.
And this is all because Widderson leaked 50% to the no-send. Like, it gave Shea and XGod so much extra gold that they had to, you know, the fighter value they needed to be able to hold against those big sends.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Widder's role is kind of insane, and he's been keeping up, so he's actually in a reasonable spot to carry this game.
Yeah, he's got some good workers.
Like, you can go for the Bundman here, and then the gate on 9, and he's holding 9, and then his build is scaling really hard.
True.
King actually ditched his Halo, by the way, so he instead of scaling really hard, he's scaling not so hard.
King? Hello?
He rerolled for the Warg on 4 to save his game.
So he just panicked it. He needed it for 4.
Yeah, I guess in retrospect.
But that was his late game.
The looter. He should have ditched the looter.
Yeah, he should. Because the Gargoyle is fine to use in place of a tier 1, right?
Yeah. Yeah, probably just panic. That really ruins his role, to be honest.
Yeah, his role was so nice with the Leviathan, Halo, Boar. Like, it's one of the best late-game combos in the entire game. And now he just has nothing.
Yeah, now it's very scuffed.
The Halo was really the key piece there. That was his carry unit for the late game. Right, XGod and Shea both with Millenniums on the table. XGod showing his Berserker here. I'd almost prefer him to hide it. Just shift his value here, like he's super strong on this wave.
Yeah. I guess we will see probably some 10 cents.
Yeah. Now, Widderson's going to be very strong there. He should get one of his Trinity Archers upgraded, so he's going to be fine. Kingdanzz, I mean, he's still strong on 10, so he's holding as well. XGod and Shea, they either save here or just income send, I think. They're not getting leaks out of King and Widderson, but they go for a full.
Okay, income from Widder, Triad from King, and Triad from Shea next go.
So, King, I mean, he is getting an Ogre, right? So he's strong on this wave, but the send is pretty big. Maybe it's enough? Widderson, though, he's only getting Mole and Dino, and his value is decent, and he has the Trinity.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hard ones are cool. Meanwhile, Shea kind of sucks here. Like, the Deep Coiler is good. This unit is completely dead value.
Would be fine, I think. I guess this pack is gonna chill for a bit.
XGod has his Berserker onto the Granddaddy over in the right-hand lane, so he's doing pretty well. And the Seedling's keeping the...
Widder is just lacking the tank value. He's sneaking here.
Yeah.
King is sneaking too.
So I was saying Kingdanzz is too good here.
Damage.
Wow. I mean, professional casting, by the way.
Yeah.
There's no way
I mean,
Kingdanzz and Widderson leak here on 10.
Both of them are lacking tank value, right? It's like King has some damage with the Levi Tempest Circle, but
Yeah.
two walks, like Green Devil and a Boar, just doesn't cut it.
And again, miracles do strike twice. Shea is on fire 2 games in a row.
Yeah. Carry
He's really flexing his skills right now.
Yeah.
15 workers, solid income, decent late game roll as well. Everything's looking up Shea. And again, we have to come back to the fact that Kingdanzz just does not have a late game roll.
Yeah, I mean, Shea also does not really have a late game roll, right?
Kind of hate
Shea's
these
late
giant
game roll
snails.
is much better than
Oh,
King's,
but they're going for a little bit of a cheese. Little giant snail after income recent, but like giant snails into this unit is just a bit of a depressing one.
Oh, XGod added
And
that
they're
for the
both-
last second.
Yeah, and they're both on value. I think
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
giant snails against boars is also kind of...
It's also a
kinda
doomer.
sad, yeah.
Did XGod add both of them this wave? No, right?
No,
But
he had
you
one
know,
last.
you know why King and Widderson did this, right? It's because King knows that he has no late game in his role. So
Yeah.
they just thought, you know what, let's go for it. If it works, then we win like a lost game. If it doesn't, well, we're losing anyway in the late game.
It's also like no wave to really leak them. Like,
Yeah.
They
like
cover
they
each
have
other's
the
weaknesses
Doomsday.
pretty solidly.
Like,
I mean,
is so good.
only 16, right?
yeah, like,
It's so
maybe
far away.
maybe 15 is doable, but like we can see that Shea has like Ocean Templar Orchids for some damage.
Yeah, and they won't allow 15. Like they will be saving up and like forcing Ascent earlier. So I don't know. I'm still, even with your explanation, Penny, I'm still a bit confused about the giant snail pick against boars and.
It's a bit of a desperation pick for not that much potential reward even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Shea and XGod are actually very aware of these cheeky resends because me and Piney killed them in a game yesterday with a resend while XGod was shifting.
So they're staying high value. I wonder if they go for a 13 send now. Or are they just going to go like straight 14?
It's 14.
Could even be
Seems
15,
reasonable. 15 also very good option. Okay, I mean
But
this
I
set is
they're
here.
sending 13.
Oh wait, Shea is actually coming 13 as well. I mean, gate is good, but if you send enough of those purple guys, like this gate isn't so good after all.
Yeah.
And the giant snails, which are pretty bad against boar, are actually very effective against Trinity archers. Widderson had to Swedish pawn shop a couple of units here, by the way.
On the archer. On the archer as well, yeah.
To get his second
get
gate. I
him
mean,
a
it's
second gate
it's
out.
just a desperation play now from Widderson, and I think it's correct, by the way. Like, he had to do that.
Yeah.
Standard shams.
I agree.
The head
I
chef
agree.
is very strong with the gate. It like turns the unit into like a reasonable one.
But we might just see a GG here on wave 13.
Yeah.
Sends a big 400 into King, 460 into
King?
Widderson.
King got his rat army to try and hold here.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah,
delay, but
Ooh,
he
there's
just doesn't
some-
have any damage on the side of
Some
King.
nice Zomba on the gates. Off tanking with the DPS ones, although
That's
that
actually
doesn't seem to
pretty
be working
good
out.
for Widderson, but it's just not going to be enough. The send was too big, his value
Yeah.
was too low, he's minus 400. King 117%, and Widderson is not doing much better there. That's GG. XGod and Shea, 2-0 lead against the
farming.
reigning
Wow,
champs.
yeah. We have a very decent lead here on our hands, and now Widderson and King are certainly going to be sweating.
Those double snail resends from King and Widderson on 2, just giving Shea the free reign with his egg. He could even push a worker there. XGod went 6 workers into wave 3, not needing to cover his mate's egg anymore. And
That
sure,
6
like
just killed them.
Widderson pushed hard to abuse the low pressure from the egg, but it just wasn't enough. And this wave
Yeah.
6, it all comes back to this wave 6, man. Like, Kingdanzz leaking 60% against XGod's income send, and that would still have been fine if Widderson had been able to cover. But Widderson leaking 50 there against the no send from Shea. Like, it just gave so much gold to Shea and XGod. Shea's nearly 900 value there on wave 7.
Yeah, if anything, like they could have went for a wave 8 where I mean, we saw the Doomsday, but like the Maiden is a lot worse on 8 because it's missing its first cast almost always.
Yeah.
So even though it's a strong tank, it's not like destroying the wave in 2 seconds.
Well, Doomsday's pretty garbage on 8 as well. And look, there was a 220 send coming out from Widderson on 7. So we know that he would have got the Ghost Knight, right?
Yeah, that would have been a lot of king damage.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably could be GK from both, honestly.
Yeah, double Ghost Knight on 8, I think, is... Maybe this is a different story for the game, but Kingdanzz and Widderson, whatever reason, they decided to carry on with their 7 send. And sure, they got leaks, but it was just not even close to enough. And after that, Shea and XGod were just flying.
Yeah, the 10 send gave them some more king damage, and then the 11 resend gave them all the pressure they needed to finish on 13.
And then this kind of questionable giant snail play on 11, giving XGod and Shea even more pushed, and then, yeah, just game on 13. Well played, XGod and Shea.
Yeah, I'm curious if King and Widder can pull it together now.
Well, they need
and
to give us
the 5. Yeah, and give us the 5 games that we deserve.
Yeah.
Or if they're just gonna be done after 3 games because they want to go back to playing TFT.
Maybe, so, maybe. But if anyone can do the reverse sweep, it's King and Widderson, right? Like, they've made a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes in this series. The brute send from Widderson on 6 in game 1 was really like questionable. The giant snails on 11 from both was pretty questionable as well. But
and just that's wave 6, like complete accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have game number 3 on our hands.
Yeah, I like that Shea and XGod flexed a different strategy as well. You know, they didn't need the long save to win this one. Just scaled a bit better, held the sense.
Well, I think we've just seen from Shea 2 games in a row that he is capable of out-carrying Kingdanzz and Widderson, which, to be honest, before we went into this series, I would have doubted he had it in him, but he clearly does.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's come a long way, apparently.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Right. Twitch chat. Let's get it on. Game number 3.
Oh, and XGod still has Greed to play.
Yeah.
He has the Grawl Egg if he wants it. And Shea has the famous Oathbreaker into Cell Oathbreaker for Egg.
Amazing.
I mean, XGod has Porta Mask.
Yeah,
that's also pretty good.
That's all you need for the first 6 waves, 7 waves?
Yeah, Steed, Grawl, too.
It's like, everything speaks forward. Like, Azaria got buffed with 3 damage. Also, and we have a great Porta skin.
Yeah, the Porta skin is insane because even when you upgrade it, she keeps the fire particles for some reason. So it's a 2 for 1.
Shea's also rocking the golden safety mold statue, which obviously gives him the edge.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, true. Intimidating the enemies with your statues. I wonder who else does that.
Only the best players, of course.
Actually, you know, Lucy has golden mole set up as well.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Imagine.
See, Lucy, clap, 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 clap.
And yeah, we see the Porta Mask. Like, it's just too strong to skip it.
It's very
the rest of his role is not that great.
But spoiler, it's a bitch roll.
Now, Shea waited until the very last second to push his workers. I thought for a split second there that he was going for the Oathbreaker into Cell Oathbreaker play. Uh-oh. Yeah. Widderson, he went for the 5-worker gate guard opener, and Shea didn't send on 1.
I mean, he has an Infiltrator.
But fine. Infiltrator is not fine against a DT if Shea decides to skip income. Gate guard Infiltrator will leak everything. Like, it's a 70% leak.
Yeah, if he just had Warg, he would be super fine.
He doesn't have the gold for a Warg. He's going for the...
True.
Yeah, Master are also very strong on 2, especially if he does the Zombo one.
Kingdanzz is pinging Widderson where he needs to place his 3rd mask, it looks like. So the key here is to go for an even split and keep that DT away from he goes for the key is definitely to build.
Nani?
At least he didn't make the mistake of putting your units left and right on the wall, because then you never kill a DT with only one of the units hitting it. I mean, he's not killing.
He is going to get that second summon.
Or
is the doggo enough to kill it?
Come on!
Oh, it's not! 73%!
I agree with you, Ofma. I really like that he didn't go for that.
By the way, Kingdanzz, he's not holding either.
Killing the Dragon Turtle. Oh, wow.
Is this just the dream scenario for XGod and Shea? Like, they're game number 3, 2 games up in the grand final, and they're just getting decent king damage on wave 2 against Kingdanzz and Widderson.
Yeah, it is. Like, I bet Widderson is pretty tilted from being skipped on wave 1 and having pushed 5 workers because now
it's just a dream start to the game.
Look great. Yeah.
And Shea, with his Shroom and his Archer, should easily be able to hold this income send here from Kingdanzz, where he should get to 6 workers out of this. And XGod's even playing safe.
Not doing the Drakir mask. Very disappointing, but you know, it doesn't really make a difference if you're gonna be on value with that much gold.
Yeah.
How would that be, Ofma?
What's up?
What positioning would that be?
Oh, you want the mask on the wall at that height, like right behind the Poda block build. It lets the mask, when you turn into False Maiden, focus fire the left on 4, which makes a difference if you get a big send.
But then it doesn't tank, right?
Let's see.
No, it still tanks. You just need to drag the split a bit.
Alright, so there is a Fiend send against both here on 4. Widderson does not look amazing. He's got 129 gold though, so as soon as he adds that False Maiden, he will start to look amazing all over again. And Kingdanzz with the double Serpent is very, very strong here on wave 4. If XGod had saved one more wave, those Serpents are giga dead value on 5. But like, the Fiend is... Oh, no, never mind. The Fiend is solo into the False Maiden.
Yeah. Yeah, and it still hits the wave. So.
Yeah, it's still hitting the wave, so that's an easy hold there from Widderson. And Kingdanzz, of course, with his double Serpents, is also doing just fine. While XGod reached to the income send. But I mean, that was
the Serpents had 20 HP less, this might have been a leak, but...
Yeah, but Serpent, in fact...
20 HP buff.
It's surviving with 24 hit points, and the other one, of course, had 20 HP more, so that would have been a massive leak if they had 20 less.
That's just basic math.
Yeah. Now, Kingdanzz does go for Imps into Shea on 5, which I think will be a pretty decent leak.
He needs to sell this for Canopy.
He's not doing that, not this early in the game. He goes for a Dark Mage? Nani?
That's kind of a weird
move,
I guess, that much.
Okay. Well, I think the Dark Mage is not going to be quite enough to save him here. I mean, it's obviously insane single target magic damage against the Scorpion King.
If it stays alive, not
which
the worst.
it does not. It does
just,
not stay alive.
Oh, we have a DPS Oathbreaker. He is sniping at him. Maybe he'll kill him.
This is going to be a massive leak on Shea. XGod obviously holds with his Priestess.
Oh, good.
But that's a 79% leak out of Shea.
Yeah, I think you just bite the bullet, sell the archer. Or it's just worth it. You get Canopy on your board, then you're strong 6-7.
Yeah, instead of having your board look like that.
Yeah, this
is...
just gotta... So we've just been praising Shea for his play in game number 1 and 2. This is a little bit questionable. Maybe the success has gone to his head.
Yeah, probably. And like the issues, like with a vault like this, you can just push less after you leak, which is like very, very punishing.
Yeah. Alright, XGod is getting his send here. With the Hellraiser, he should be pretty fine.
Oh yeah.
Some slick block build action.
Yeah. It's going to work against the no-send. When do we expect to see a send against Kingdanzz and Widderson? Because they're not really weak until maybe 10, but then Kingdanzz will have double coiler.
probably want to target 9, maybe, but I mean, XGod and Shea are correctly just going for the wave 8. And
Kingdanzz
XGod is on a few
sending, which is going to give Shea the much needed workers.
Yeah. To be fair, he's on some insane value, so there's no point trying to leak him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we see some king ups, and just some income. So I mean, the important thing is this wave 8 send gonna work?
Yeah. Like,
I don't even know if they go wave 8. Like Widderson could
yeah,
just
they
boost
might
Orchid.
feel confident to skip now.
Yeah, honestly, they could.
Wave 9's looking a lot more promising against Kingdanzz at least.
Yeah, and
Oh yeah, definitely.
Harbinger isn't some miracle on 9 if you're getting big send.
Yeah, like an ogre
That's
can
what
kill
they're
Orchid pretty comfortably.
He should go for the Orchid, which is gonna help him out on 9 even against the ogre.
Oh yeah. Orchid is very strong on 8 and 9.
And King is already building for 9.
Correct read, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do we expect from King?
Widderson with the Orchid here.
Yeah, he's not boosting.
He
He actually doesn't have the money.
He could have boosted an infill, right?
Oh, true.
Alright, so we have 280 Mythium on the side of XGod. Holy, that's a big send for 9.
He could even do something like a GK. It's like, kind of like
nice.
impossible to kill.
He can send a Ghost Knight and then like
he could send Centaur.
Oh,
he could send Centaur if he wanted to give Kingdanzz a chance, yeah.
He goes for the simple, just ogre.
I actually really like the Ghost Knight that you called there, Ofma. I think that would have been very good against him.
Yeah. I do agree.
He does have a nice counter for the ogre. I mean, I don't think the ogre... or actually, he doesn't have a... oh, he does have a split. Okay, he sold for it.
Well, the ogre's going right, where it's going to crush everything in the split.
This is like going to be a pretty good hold, I think, from King. And Widder is on some pretty juicy value. These units are insane.
Widderson is on value. Like, he's +0. He's exactly on value.
And he's been farming those King ups to keep his income up and not give XGod free gold.
Now, obviously, his split is just wasted value. We really need to see how this ogre does against the...
the ogre is not being targeted.
Yeah,
the ogre's now on the Orchid, which obviously is pretty tanky against it. Widderson's killed the entire wave. That's just a holdout of Widderson. Kingdanzz, the 9% ogre. 90. And Widderson does leak, by the way, but only a very low HP ogre in a single creep. So this could have been much worse.
They got some King ups this time. This isn't gonna kill them like it has been.
No, they're barely taking any damage here.
Yeah, the ogres are very low.
Yeah, some nice adaptation. Like I like the King ups, like just protecting yourself a bit because these accidents keep happening.
Yeah. Oh, and a brute resend out of Kingdanzz.
I mean,
the Shea is not
very
looking great
suspicious on 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And he can't really add anything red.
0 answers.
I mean, he has consorts, right, Penny? Which are
the consort is the best unit on 10 and 12 and 16.
Yeah, it's outright the strongest unit, so he might be just fine. But he doesn't build consorts.
What a noob.
Yeah, what a noob.
Yeah.
Did nobody tell him that it's the best unit in the game?
XGod did not do enough for split, so the Zero is actually just getting sprinted down. But
that's kind of
he did
fine,
add some
though,
backup damage, but
he's still leaking very decently against that income set.
Usually an automatic leak with Poda Mask on 10, unless you got Daphne or Zerker. And this is going to be some nice king. We have one king.
Yeah, this is really making things look bad for XGod and Shea.
Yeah. Like the wave 9 was kind of, let's call it a tie on 9 because Kingdanzz and Widderson held so well. But this is very heavily in the favour of King and Widderson.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like they still have the worker lead and they have the Mythium lead. So they can go for some aggressive play. I would assume they might go 12, yeah.
Yeah, 12 is looking decent against King and Widderson.
Possibly pick giant snails or something to make something happen. Then everything might look a lot better if they get the king damage there. But if they don't, they're kind of doomed.
I like the Titan, just taking the easiest defensive spell.
Yeah. Because
Jules is pretty happy with King and Widderson this game, though. 61% their edge.
Ooh, investment Titan from Shea, so no aggressive. Like, Giant Snails isn't amazing against their builds. They have a lot of impact already, and Phoenix obviously is like ignoring Giant Snails.
Yeah.
It was Giant Snails, because it just gives it more damage with the mana shield, right? So we have an income send coming out from Kingdanzz. Will XGod and Shea pull the trigger here on 12, or do they want to go longer?
I mean, it's either they go here or they go 14, I think. Yeah, and it looks like they will happily receive this income send.
I really like the investment choice when you're going for these like long saves, because getting just free, like, what, it's going to be like 120 gold. Like, that's kind of insane when you're saving.
Yeah, I agree.
And Shea's getting decent value out of his Titan Yzora, obviously, a bit of hit points there. They might still leak to this income set.
I hope he adds his upper split again, because...
yeah, I agree.
This Tempest is going to run it down and grief his Poda for the rest of the game.
Yeah. So his Priestess is just
kind
not tanking anymore.
Like, it's a really strong synergy, Tempest Mask, but you gotta build it pretty low with Poda.
Well, Shea's actually leaking decently here to 2 dinos and a snail.
Oh yeah.
Shea goes for a 67% leak there. XGod should be able to cover, he will.
Yeah, he full built for 13. But
they have to survive 13 now as well. And that's not guaranteed if King and Widderson decided to go for a full send.
Might be rough with how Shea pushed. It kind of looks like he's probably suiciding.
Yeah, that's probably the call, because he's a bit out and his build isn't scaling.
Well, we know that XGod's Azaria is not going to run it down here because, well, the Leviathan's going to tank for her, so he's not going to lose the Azaria.
He's not pushing, which is confusing because he will not hold anything from now on.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he should just commit to it now.
I think he just doesn't want to leak the entire wave here, and then surely he full pushes now.
I mean, he's certainly...
the Badger reroll, that's pretty nice for him.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Alright, so Shea has to just suicide push now. His only chance.
Yeah, they really need to either like a kill or just insane amount, like 1% gain or something.
I mean, Shea's leaking heavily here. Maybe he's not even doing that bad.
He's gonna kill some stuff.
He kind of built for here, with the Zoras.
And he is pushing, by the way, so Shea's going in for that suicide. Maybe he can kill one more here. No, he can't. So that's a 50% leak out of Shea, but I think he's fine with that. XGod will be able to cover.
Yeah, and XGod is fine next as well with the Doomsday.
He's got the God roll pretty much.
He doesn't even need to get it.
Yeah, he could just prep some for 16, honestly, like Yzora's.
Yeah.
Some tank.
Widderson's Sandbadger reroll coming in pretty clutch here for the 14 send. So he's going to have at least one Iron Scales.
Shea not pushing. They're probably
that's questionable.
Wanna keep going.
But I mean, I feel like the game ends here one way or the other.
Yeah, and the send against against this build is impossible. Like, this can't double 4-eye easily. Like you probably need mimics and not ogres, but it's tough to call because he also has wanderers. Like, this build is a nightmare to send versus.
Yeah, XGod and Shea are actually more undervalued than Kingdanzz and Widderson here.
I mean, this send is usually good for a leak.
Yeah.
Pack is getting insta-sniped.
Oh, the Phoenix
is
though.
smurfing. Maybe gonna die?
Oh wow,
Go
that's
down.
so important. That's so important.
If that Phoenix lives there, this is pretty nuts.
Oh yeah. The Ogre tanking for the wave.
Yeah.
Perfect.
94 on Kingdanzz, 87 on Widderson. Is it enough? Is it enough to kill them?
But
I think they survive here with that king. They
Yeah.
have full attack, full spell.
They dropped down a lot though, and it looks like it has to be 16.
Yeah, it has to be, right?
yeah, I mean, Shea is just dead, so I would like to see King just not push.
Oh yeah.
King and Widderson down to 19% King HP, but Shea and XGod are not much healthier, to be honest.
Yeah, Shea is full pushing for the 16 cent.
It's the correct call for sure. And Widder should also push. It's not obvious, but he is pushing, so
yeah,
it's clear enough what's going to happen this game.
Yeah, so game will end on 16, and I think it's going to end in favour of Kingdanzz and Widderson. That's my call from here.
Yeah, if I had a bet on a build that's holding 16 the best,
it's Kingdanzz build, yeah.
Yeah, with the
especially since he's getting the
Phoenixes there and 3 coilers, like.
Yeah, XGod has the masks, but he's just lacking the tank value, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if he could get more value of his Azeria, I would be more confident. But
yeah, but his Azeria is like not tanking anything, right?
Yeah.
It started tanking a little bit on wave 13, for example, because the Leviathan just dies fast enough.
That's fair. And, I mean, it's going to be pretty obvious what's happening here.
Yeah. But that's just in favour. Oh, Widderson is not full pushing, by the way. So he pushed hard, but he's not fully pushing.
I will say he's probably not going to hold, so it would have been better for him to commit.
Yeah, I do agree. This wave 16 is very bad.
And he's definitely not holding a city.
Oh no, XGod with the Centaur, it's so bad against Phoenixes. It's honestly so bad against Phoenixes. It just gives them more damage with the mana shield.
It is going to be sitting in the split as well.
It's a very difficult send.
It's a really hard send, because you want to send 4 eyes, like you want a double 4 eyes, but you just can't because of these serpents at the back.
Yeah, they are just munching.
The Centaur I just really disagree with, though.
It's probably like double mimic pack or something random like that.
Yeah.
Add a lizard to try to kill the
because
coilers with this.
Like 1 or 2 lizards can actually just form a bridge, pull all of the coilers over to the right hand side where they get ruined by whatever you sent into the...
Well, let's have a look.
Have a look. So Shea obviously holding nothing here. A lot of it's going to come down to whether XGod's tantrumed Hellraisers with the Leviathan buff are able to deal enough damage, and they're just dying too quickly. I think XGod is leaking as well here, and I think that's going to be all she wrote. Shea, 129% leak, of course. Widderson going for a bit of a leak himself, and Kingdanzz, that Centaur just doing nothing against the Phoenix there.
Yeah,
he's
the
just
wave
holding.
is just dead.
Yeah. Kingdanzz will leak, but just not fast enough.
It's not even going to be close to enough. And meanwhile, Shea and XGod do die here, so we have got signs of life now from Abrasiert, taking the first of 3 games they need to come back into this one.
Yep, just this time it was Shea making the small mistakes early game, and
I mean, Shea's build was like he's been playing so well throughout, and then his build here in this game is just bad. Like, what is this? What is this? There's no other way to put it. Like, what is this Dark Mage on 5?
Trash.
It's just absolute unmitigated garbage. Like, no offense, guys.
It's
like pretty trash.
We want to be respectful towards the players and don't offend or insult anyone. But holy shit, was that build bad? Right?
That was a badass build.
Yeah, he felt forced to build like very weird stuff to hold like best on wave 5, but I think sometimes in those situations, like, it didn't really change anything.
No, I mean, it wasn't good. He still did 79%, right?
Yeah, in the end it would have been better, even if he just built for 6 or 7 or something. Just prepare for the future, accept the leak, then just push more because you're.
Because then you don't have to play the rest of the game with this scuffed build.
Yeah, exactly.
Fighting the bullet, selling the fire archer, it like blows to lose your value, but honestly, it's an insane. Like it would have worked insanely well because the guy sent imps even.
We had to sell it on 9 anyway.
Yeah, like this unit you don't want your board later, so like the last wave it's getting values like 6, 7 as like a split tanker, but like if you have Canopy, you don't really need anything on those waves.
Yeah.
That wave 9, like
I'll take a 1 minute break.
Yeah, sure. So massive sends on 9. 340 Mythium walks into King's Lane, and he leaks 5 creeps and a low HP ogre. 280 in Widderson's, and he leaks a low HP ogre and a single creep. And then meanwhile, Shea and XGod, they both leak really hard to fairly minor resends on wave 10. And that shaves off 50% of their King's hit points. Like, they just... I feel like the game is over on wave 10 already. The lead is too strong on the side of King and Widders.
It forced them into that super like long like all-in play. And honestly, like I kind of wanted to see them just go 15. Like Phoenix isn't that good on 15. Like I know he has like full Gargs
and the Phoenix, but like you can send enough to break that board pretty easily. I think.
Yeah.
Like, he sent like 760 on like 4. Like I think like a big enough send like. You
get double Kraken, like guaranteed.
Yeah.
And how is Kingdanzz ever killing a double Kraken on 15?
He's
just
0
not.
damage.
Like, he just can't do it. And
15 does so much damage to the king. Like.
Yeah. I feel like they could have just gone one more. But the thing is, like, Shea had already committed to the suicide at this point, right? Like, he's 2.1k value on 14, even with the send. So, like, without the send, he's just leaking 4 on 14. Risky. And you're getting into the territory where XGod can't cover as well. Like, XGod, 2.3k value after the send. So maybe they just die to Income King on 14 if they don't send themselves.
Yeah.
But, Kingdanzz and Widderson, they're bringing this one back. They've made it 2-1 at this point. Can they complete the reverse sweep? Will they be able to reach? I mean, they still on match point. They can't afford to drop another game. But will they be able to get this game number 4 in the bag and then see game number 5 to the win? Because XGod and Shea, they only need 1 more win to crown themselves champions.
They've lost 1 greed on Widder and King's Yellow, so I would imagine maybe they just swap it up for this 4th game and then
most likely
pull out the like spicy stuff for game 5, which would be really hype.
That would be pretty cool. Like Shea and XGod have both run out of greed, have they? Or have they still got 1 greed left?
No, XGod has greed still.
XGod still has greed, okay.
And it looks like Shea and XGod are ready.
Right, so Kingdanzz and Widderson, let's see if they're around. They might have taken a quick break before the next game. But no, we're straight into this one. So, game number 4 is underway. Kingdanzz and Widderson still on match point. Shea and XGod only need to convert 1 more win to crown themselves champions of the July Cup. Can they make it happen? Let's find out. Game number 4.
These guys haven't swapped the sending order at all. They're pretty comfortable with what's happening. Maybe King and Widder just saying, like, you know what, like, these games are reasonable, like, nothing crazy is happening, we're just making mistakes in our losses, so...
Shea on the YOLO. Not an amazing YOLO roll, I have to say. I mean, he's good for the early game. He's good for the early game, and potentially good for the late game with the Butcher Gates. But he has no mid-game whatsoever.
Yeah, wait till you see Divine Blessing Gates.
Oh boy. I mean, surely you just Divine Blessing your Sakura, right? Oh, this one's on redraw, by the way.
Respectable, playing for the late. Maybe not happy with his rolls so far.
Yeah. But yeah, I think with the Crusher and the Gargoyle, he's set for the first waves. And but then he just has to look for something.
And XGod again, just skillfully rolling Potent Mask.
I mean, it didn't work out for him last game, though.
I mean, this roll is just insane. It's Potent Mask, Boy, Zora, Wild Shroom.
Consort as well for wave 10, best unit in the game.
Yeah, for any wave.
Yeah. But it actually is very good for covering Poter's weaknesses on 10 and 12.
Yeah. Oh, he took the gate guard over the shroom.
I would have liked to see him.
Windhawk opener again, and again, not being snail checked. And again, trying very, very hard, not sending his Mythium on 1. But XGod is going to be pretty safe there, of course.
Yeah. XGod will be pretty happy about not having received the king up.
Yep.
Mr. Shea is going to be very happy with the long waves again.
Oh, yeah.
This time I think
going
Widder...
5 workers, by the way. If XGod does decide to snail check him, which I think he might, then King is going to struggle. I don't know if he can afford his Avenger then, because he'll leak half the wave.
He just needs to add the rat, right?
He can add the rat, but then he still has to sell the rat, right?
And with the Windhawk, he...
Gold, yeah.
With the Windhawk on 1, like, the XGod will not assume that it's an egg, so he might go for it.
Ooh. Oh, I thought Shea was going greedy.
Okay.
I think this is supposed to be half square lower for the Fire Archer next wave, but...
XGod did add the mask, so that should be enough for him to hold here against the Lizard's End.
Yep.
It just makes sure that the Aziria is taking not enough damage before it gets its second heal out, and as soon as it's got the second heal out, it should be fine. Although, having said that... Oh, the heal! That was so clutch!
Yeah, it's usually a close affair.
Not even close.
I mean, doesn't that always hold?
Yeah, it does, I'm pretty sure. I can't imagine an RNG where it wouldn't, to be honest.
Well, if anyone can find that RNG, it would be me. Alright, there are 40 cents coming out from everybody apart from Widderson, who didn't have the Mythium. And Kingdanzz gets his Avenger Boy, which means he is going to be very, very fine here on this wave. I wonder if XGod sends the snail. He knows that Kingdanzz is shifting for something. Oh, he's building the Avenger Boy very far forward. Harpy Avengers.
I mean, it's a tank now.
Yeah.
Right? So...
This Dragon Turtle is doing the Lord's work in Widderson's lane.
Yeah, I would like to see the snails again on the non-range waves.
The Windhawk's going to survive, though. That's pretty clutch.
But I think like the Sky Queen will be covering the Avengers weak waves pretty nicely.
Yeah,
like
true.
8
My god.
Or 12.
Widderson absolutely wrecked there, leaking the Dragon Turtle on 3.
Yep, and he's the only one not 7 workers.
Shea just held a 60 send with 245 value, by the way.
Yeah,
now has 7 workers.
Classic. These units are just so insane on 3. It's crazy.
Really strong. And he's going to go for that resend. He will be able to do a 60 if he wants to, but he might just leave it at Dragon Turtle. Widderson has 76 gold. Is he going to go for the Chain Fist upgrade, or is he just shifting here for a Violet? Because I think if he shifts, this might be...
very ballsy shift.
Oh, no, he goes
this is a very high worker opener. You don't usually want to shift on your weak wave.
Yeah. The turtle's still going left.
Yeah.
The Oathbreaker is...
I mean, the left side is a full square higher, right?
Yeah.
Windhawk living forever, but it does go down, and Widderson will leak here. Maybe he gets another chicken or 2. There's
it's
one.
A decently sized leak.
Yeah, 42%.
By the way,
I mean, that's fine from an income send.
So, I don't know, is he looking straight 6, straight 7 even? Got some Mythium to work with.
You do. XGod going for his send here on 5 into Kingdanzz, who adds a Grawl.
It'll be just fine. Even with the nerf, I think it's more than enough.
Yeah, especially with adding the second looter, I think he's
the second looter is definitely making the difference, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We do see the downside of like Flying Force early game. You just start spamming some units. Yeah. Especially when you're saving, it's very hard to get out the big boys.
So Widdowson's going to hold against the Snail King ups. So let's just have a quick look at Kingdanz's lane to see whether this 100% gets any work done.
Usually it takes imps to break this, but Those nerfs could be different.
It's on the dino now. It's going to start popping,
Looks
but
fine.
pretty late. Kills the dino, so
The thing
it's
is, like,
finally...
with selling with Flying Force is rough because, like, what makes this build good is getting the big units, like the power spikes.
Yeah.
Like getting your Violet or getting the Leviathan that buffs, like, 3-4 units. But if you don't have the resources, it's not a very strong roll.
No, Widder could have sent Mimic and Income on 6.
I was just about to say, by the way, how clutch would it be if XGod did the play that we saw Doofus and L1 make yesterday? He just full shifts here and goes for that Azaria on 7, but he's not. He's actually building here.
I mean,
oh no, he is shifting.
Against,
oh no, okay.
Against the Ogre, he just leaks.
Yeah.
Right.
But the Azaria is going to be better for him than not having it.
Yeah, true.
I don't mind the tantrum. It's
like,
usually good for some kills.
Like this, he'll still clear something off the way.
Yeah.
But I think we are going to see the big boys.
Widderson. Kingdanzz has an ogre of his own, so XGod and Shea, they're being treated to a little taste of their own medicine here on wave 7.
True.
And Shea's build is
and
once again filled with...
That's crazy. Like, XGod has to sell the bus to get the Harbinger.
He needs upper split, or else there's something bad happening to him.
Interesting.
There is something bad happening to him.
Yeah.
There's a huge ogre coming swinging. And I don't think he's gonna be happy about that.
I mean, the ogre still does go right.
Yeah. Great casters.
Oh. And the ogre did take the death rattle damage, but the Harbinger dies very quickly, doesn't get off the second dog summon. Shea did get the second summon in his lane, so he's able to kill a decent number of wave creeps. XGod 74%, Shea 94%. And again, this is massive king damage, but at least they have some king upgrades.
Yeah, if the ogre went on the Hellraiser, it would have been way better for him. So the Harbinger can still get some damage in.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, this hurts. 50% king, but they do have the Mythium, so let's see if they make something out of it.
Yeah. Maybe their decision to save is going to end up being a game-winning one, because now they have the massive pressure advantage.
Problem is, when do you send versus this build? Like 11, I guess, is your best bet against the Solve now?
It kind of has to be 11 or 12, right? But like, Widderson's a god on 12 with his Leviathans, and they're pretty good on 11 as well.
Also, they can't skip 10. Look at their builds.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them are absolutely
they just die there if they skip.
Game is in a tough spot for sure.
Kingdanzz and Widderson don't just keep on income kinging it.
Yeah, that's true. I think that fact is they do have insane builds that cover each other, so they might not care. I could see them skip 9 because it makes almost 0 sense to send 9 into these units. I mean, I guess you could kill Sovereign with a big enough send, or if you get like GK off.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, there's upper split. Like,
yeah, GK goes right. Like, it would have to be a 4
I think it's
I
probably
guess.
gonna be 10.
Yeah, I could see it.
It's still not going to be easy to leak Kingdanzz on 10, no matter what the send.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a Centaur.
Yeah, I rather think it's gonna be a 4, right?
Very long wave there from Shea.
Oh yeah.
Okay, they're saving. They recognize maybe they need to make sure that 10 is the last possible send.
Yeah, but if Kingdanzz and Widderson go for a full send on 10, then I think you're right, Green. I think they do just win if Shea and XGod decide to save longer.
Yeah,
I agree. They might even just win.
Yeah, either way.
Either way. Like,
skillfully using the redraw to find the Halo, which means 10 is going to be a bit of a problem.
A bit But they can't afford to save past. They just can't. They're dead.
Yeah.
They got enough Mythium to send some funny stuff, so
Yeah.
we'll see what they choose.
I mean, that could be a siege ram against Widderson, which should still be a leak, right? No, he goes for the ogre.
Ogre mole, I'm fine with that. Countering the Leviathan more.
And there is a 4-eyes coming out from Widderson, so Kingdanzz, what is your answer to just having a billion value might be a pretty solid answer, especially when...
It might also be time for the Sky Queen to come out with some secondary damage for the
Sky Queen
Yeah,
it is.
definitely. Yeah, like he has no damage. This is a tank unit now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, like, if he gets a 4-eye, it's good. If he gets the Ghost Knight, it's
Widderson
good. Yeah.
only has to sell a single gargoyle to be able to get his big boy Halo, so that's an easy hold for him. And if we just go back over to Shea and XGod, I think these are the teams which are most...
I don't know about hold, but yeah, it's not going to be bad.
What?
Yeah, it's onto the boss.
Poser at least is able to kill both of the Sens, so that's something. Yeah, okay, so Widderson's still leaking even with the big boy Halo.
King is basically killing the boss. Yeah, they're fine with these leaks.
They're fine. They don't die here. They take some damage because of full HP 4-eyes and a full HP Ogre, but I actually think Shea and XGod are going to take more damage here.
Yeah. This game is
They're
rough.
going to be left with about 10% HP on the right-hand side. King and
Damn,
Widderson,
that's
sure, they're
really
taking a
rough.
bit of damage here, but it's just
12
not
was a
enough.
huge problem. You can't even venture.
Yeah.
Maybe Creditor to get some more gold?
I don't know. Like, King just doesn't have any weaknesses now, right? Like, the usual weak wave of the Sovereign is 12, but he's got the Sky Queens for that. The usual weak wave of the Sky Queen is 13, but he's got the Sovereign for that. 14, he's got Iron Scales, you know, he's got answers for
It
everything.
would be 15.
Yeah. Like 15 to 17 is probably the line that like Shea and XGod want, but getting there is...
Getting there's really hard. Like, they're already
Yes,
kind of
the
bad
venture is
value.
just...
Well, King and Widderson both go for the venture, by the way, knowing how strong they are on 12.
Like, this build is not leaking 12 most likely.
Nope,
XGod
absolutely
taking
no
Predator. Yeah, I mean they have to.
It's kind of like they kind of have to match them with income, I suppose, or
Yeah.
like try to and then go for the 17 play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Thing is,
doing just fine here.
Widder's
against
hiding
Persons.
some secret weapon for 17.
Yeah.
Zonk is gonna be a nightmare, and the Halo means that the Tempests aren't like useless. Like he's still pumping a serious amount of damage if you send full range.
Oh yeah, definitely, and they're still like all right tanks.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that we're never seeing Wave 17 this game, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume that like King and Widder are aiming for 14.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, like, if XGod and Shea match them with income there, I think we might see a wave 17. I mean, unless they die on 16.
Yeah. 14-16 was, I think, what they're Widder and King were.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Like, XGod and Shea have to match them with income of 14 and then just not push a single worker if they want to execute their line.
Yeah.
Because 16 looks really bad for them. But I would assume, like, King and Widder are just gonna push incredibly hard there.
Yeah.
Jules actually thinks this game is very close, by the way. He's calling it pretty much a 50-50.
Technically, Shea is on shutdown.
Yeah.
But that's just because of Venture, like, making the game look a little funny. I mean, he has the highest income.
He's still ahead, and he might farm another round of Creditor here, and he will still be ahead next wave, like even more.
So Creditor is actually more valuable than Venture, right? If they fully utilize it on all three waves, they get more gold than the Venture.
It's more gold than the Venture, yeah. And it looks like they do.
And then they'll just walk away.
Walk away.
They're making the right plays.
Yeah. I mean, they're unfavoured in my eyes. I think the game is not as close as Jules is saying. But they are making the right plays. They're finding like the slim path to victory.
I think it is. Like, Shea and XGod are in the worker lead, and having farmed like Predator for 3 waves, and I got them back.
Yeah, and everyone has the
only.
Everybody going for the 14s. So this is going to be pretty clutch. XGod does get his Doomsday, which he fully shifted for. Widderson has no idea about it, so of course he won't be sending any Ghost Knights.
Honestly, I'm not sure if I like the full send from Shea and XGod. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like...
Huh? Widderson is... sorry, XGod is not going for the Doomsday. He's building Iron Scales. He's just trusting his masks to do enough damage. He's building tanks instead.
Or, yeah. I
will
say...
and
just like the giving up on his split, because he really could just put the boar right and have no... and still keep his split, which really amps up the mass damage.
Alright, so XGod gets a small send. He's overvalue. I expect him to hold. He has good units as well.
Yeah. He should easily hold here.
And Kingdanzz with his triple badges and an Ocean Templar as well by the dirty. Widderson maybe going for a small leak, but also maybe just holding. Shea, it looks like, will leak small.
No.
XGod holds, of course. Yeah, Shea's leaking.
Oh, he is. There was one creep more than
one creep and a witch. Widderson also leaked 1 creep, but only a hermit. And Shea's on shutdown! What?
Wow.
What? Come on, Jules, are you drunk?
Widder's income is a bit out.
Yeah. Shea does have pretty juicy income, that's true.
Yeah, and he farmed a lot of gold with the Predator.
Yep. Predator was a really nice call.
But yeah, like if they had just gone with Income King here, I think maybe now Shea and XGod would be in the lead.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking about. Like, you're not gonna leak them. You know they have like Venture or Predator. Just take your income there, like trying to match them, and look for another wave. Look for 17, for example. The only drawback is like if you think they might not send you, if you then go income,
then you're in trouble.
Obviously, it's a horrible play.
Yeah,
but in that case, I felt like it might have been a very good choice for them.
And it kind of looks like everyone's going for a bit of a overbuild, not ginormous overbuilds because the game's a bit starved, but
yeah, I mean 16 is kind of. Bad wave for Shea and XGod, so...
The thing is, XGod and Shea just can't afford to take risks anymore, right? Because it's going to take a very small leak for them to lose.
I'm not sure what King's and Widderson's plan is, though. Like,
I think they're trying to survive 17 and win 19 is an angle I see for them.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a better strategy than pushing hard for 16? I guess it's risky against the masks and the 2 archetypes, but
I think it's fine to be honest. But I don't mind either line to be honest.
Yeah.
So Widderson should have his 2nd Haven out for wave 17, which makes him actually fairly decent there, whereas otherwise it was obviously a bit of a weakness for him. And Kingdanzz is going to have a lot of tank value.
Yeah, the Arcto spam is gonna not be amazing on 17, but...
No, but he has the Red Eyes as well. He can make like the Red Eyes and the Doomsday if he wants to.
Yeah.
And the masks are still dealing a lot of damage as well, remember?
Everyone's sending...
Well, the gate's tanking a little bit too much for Shea, so he probably needs to do something about those ranged units in his split, because he can't afford for that to happen on 17.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
And there is full sends coming out from all 4 players.
And he is decently strong on 17, like with the Wargs, the Harbinger, and the Gates.
Yep.
He just needs to remember to sell this.
Yeah, he has to sell it. Shea,
please, but there's not enough gold on 16. There's not enough gold for a Doomsday now.
Yeah, this is a build lacking some damage for sure.
Yeah, Shea? Hello?
Shea, you're gonna kill your gates. He does, okay. He heard us, guys, he heard us.
Yeah.
Pretty sus.
Yeah, pretty sus, I gotta say. Alright. Alright, let's see what's gonna happen here.
Everybody's under value by 400 or more. Alright, this is gonna come down to the wire, I think. Widderson did not get a second haven, he just added 2 small bunks.
Oh yeah.
And Kingdanzz is getting
leaking very
kills.
decently. He just doesn't have enough damage here.
Yeah.
Shea looks like he's gonna stall, and everyone else looks like they're leaking.
Kingdanzz and Widderson don't get huge, but it might just be enough.
We can see another gate diff in this Nova Cup final. Right?
Do they ever survive here?
This time around, it's a slightly different gate diff.
Do they ever survive on the side of King and Widderson?
I don't think they survive. Like, wave 17 is so deadly. And the gates just delay long enough.
Unless...
Unless... It's so close! Oh my god!
Those 3 king-ups that Kingdanzz did.
Joking.
Wow.
Kingdanzz did 3 king spells on wave 16.
Wow, these players really want to make it interesting for us. Giving us the 5th game, like, making the casters seem wrong, like, just nasty the survival of Kingdanzz.
That one was super close. These games on the finals cast have been intense, guys.
Oh yeah. Lord.
Speaking of which, I actually need to go and grab myself some water before game number 5. There's no way.
Water, Penny.
Some water, bottle of water. I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, you guys can either take a break yourselves or continue to talk if you wish.
Yeah, well, that was a pretty insane end.
I actually cannot believe that's how it ended.
Yeah, I honestly expected that King and Widder would not survive there.
Yeah, they looked pretty dead in my eyes as well. Like, literally, like, one more creep, slightly worse aggro. Like, King killed all his harpies. I don't know if you saw that. Like, his split just wrapped onto the harpies.
Oh, that's possibly because of the small harpy that he added on the right side, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think so. Maybe that was his intention, to try and delay.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe, yeah, so his units off-tank better. But yeah, like, imagine if Shea and XGod went income on 14.
Yeah.
That might have been the difference maker of having, like, more resources to push that one more worker to get those last 2% in.
Yeah.
Like, this is... We are watching, like, a pretty high level of gameplay where like very small decisions can change a lot.
And if they had some like regen or something just to give their king a little more HP, like very small stuff.
I am back, by the way.
Welcome back.
Thank you for entertaining the stream in my absence. Very kind of you guys.
Yes, we're talking about the game of inches here.
Yeah, don't worry, Penny. Stream was very thankful for your absence.
Yes, I'm sure they were. And the lobby is available. We have got all 4 players and all 3 casters inside. So we might be about ready to go for game number 5 in the grand finals, boys and girls. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, chat possibly already spamming the nose after you returned.
Unlucky, chat. Unlucky.
Give me some Penny own nose in the chat.
So,
alright.
Given how close the last 2 games were, have you guys got any favourites moving into game number 5?
I mean, Widder and King, I would like... Normally, you might say they have the momentum, but these games are just so friggin' close.
Yeah, I see your point, but I gotta say, I think I have to give it to King and Widder now, because, like, King possibly, like, woke up 2 hours ago, put a frozen pizza in the oven, had some pizza for breakfast, and played his 2 first Legion games in a couple of weeks. Lost them, then woke up and realized, I'm playing a tournament. Maybe I should try playing the game and not, like, I don't know, play TFT on the second screen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now they're warmed up a little bit, and yeah, their performance looks a lot more convincing. Even though those games are still very, very, very tight.
I mean, I think all three of us assumed that Shea and XGod had won that one, right? Like it.
Yeah, I thought they did it.
Yeah,
but the King surviving there with 2% HP was just...
Yeah, one King up in either direction, like...
Yeah, exactly.
What a crazy finish.
Exactly. But Greenspirit, like you were saying, I think, was it wave 14 in that game where Shea and XGod
we were just discussing that. Like if you go for the income there,
for that income King play on 14, I'm pretty certain Shea and XGod win the game.
Yeah, like if you just have a little bit more gold, you can push like maybe one more worker.
Yep.
It can make the difference.
Yeah,
like
100%.
These 2%.
But I think we're about ready to move into game number 5, so we don't need to guess or predict any longer. It seems the teams are going to decide for us.
And I think this is the final game.
Regardless of what happens, I think it's going to be a pretty intense match of Legion here.
Joel's letting us know that his 51%, 49% prediction from earlier in the game was actually correct.
Joel's sliding in hot with the shade there.
Never doubt the algorithm.
Yeah. Truly.
Alright, so the players were asking if we were ready, and then they kind of left us hanging for a little bit, so we've got some more time to pad, guys, I'm afraid. Alright, XGod is ready now, so we might be about ready to move into game.
Oh, and by the way, King and Widder are off greed.
Yeah.
So they gotta pull out something. No YOLO for King, no redraw for Widder.
Alright. Guys, Twitch chat, I hope you're ready, because this one is for all the marbles. July Grand Finals, game number 5. Let's get it on.
Cartel? Cash. Wonder if Shea and XGod will stick to the
Cartel Shea as well.
See if he can flex his carry pants again.
And greed on XGod. So the only one of the 4 players still having greed in his repertoire. XGod bursts it out here in the match final game.
A juicy roll for XGod, has lots of options.
He really does. Like the Fire Elemental Windhawk is very solid, but so is the Consort and the Green Devil. He can go for a gun roll with Gargoyle as well. He's almost spoiled for choice.
Yep. But King is opting for the Windhawk opener.
King has a hyper early game roll, actually.
Yeah, very
So
cheap.
he just really wants to like snowball out of control in the early with his cartel.
And for the first time, we see AOA in an actual aggressive spell in 11.
In my grand finals.
Oh, Nani?
Maybe influencing the cartel picks? People realizing the early game might the game might end on 11.
Yeah, true. And cartel is probably one of the best mastermind options into an AOA game, because you're gonna be peaking by that wave 11, so you're gonna be as strong as possible.
Yeah.
Right, let's see if we see any snails. Choice. We do not. We have King ups all around, although Widderson and King try hard.
Even though 3 snails would have been kind of decent.
Yeah. Alright. Well, XGod at least is very safe on wave number 2. With a gun, he can just add a single gargoyle and be completely unleakable. And Shea did not push the 5th worker, so not falling to the trap that Widderson did in the previous game. He's actually going to be very safe on 2 with, he's got all sorts of options. He can go for the Serpent, he can put something like a Seedling or a Pixie down. And King, by the way, worth mentioning, if you've got real skill, you can kill that 11th creep on wave 1 with your Windhawk.
Yeah, I haven't seen that for a while, since Aviator is not playing anymore.
Yeah.
I can't really remember having seen that recently.
Definitely not in one of my games, unless it's the enemy.
Yeah.
Shea goes for the casket.
Personally, because it's a tank, but...
Well, here it will actually tank a lot more than the Gate Guard. It should tank the entire roll.
Well, I'm not sure, like, in the early game, it's also kind of decent DPS, no?
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
either
maybe
way, Shea
thinking
was
about
guaranteed
4.
to hold here because he stayed 4 workers. Like, it was
Yeah,
never in doubt.
exactly. Like,
He can go 6 workers now as well, by the way.
Oh yeah, easily. And he does.
Nice.
The upgraded version of the what's it? The Cage of Pain. Like the unit is insane on 4. It actually 2-shots the wave.
Oh yeah.
Like I thought I could send verse it because its typing isn't amazing, but yeah.
Isn't it the Iron Maiden that 2-shots? I'm not sure the Cage does.
I think it's just the Cage, unless you have a Hermit coming.
So Shea is going for a split here, which will reduce the damage of his Cage.
Well, the split dies pretty fast, so should be in time.
Very happy about the double snail here. He did add a second goggle, which means he's completely fine.
Yeah, like the
casket's still hitting the entire wave, by the way. The AoE on that is actually pretty big. I thought with the split, maybe it would only be hitting half the wave, but no.
Oh, no.
So easy holds there. And there was a lizard sent into Widderson, which I think might cause a very small leak.
Yeah, he was 6 workers, so I'm sure he's okay with it.
Yeah. Well, Widderson 7 workers, Shea and XGod both 7 workers. Kingdanzz, as usual, slacking behind with only 6.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Kingdanzz actually was like behind in workers in a lot of those games in the early game. Like in some of them due to pack red, but still, even with that, he was kind of like playing more passive than we are normally used to.
And that dino Ofma's pinging, I think it might do some decent work against the Danzz. But he's got solid options here, and he does go for the consort instead of upgrading the angler, which obviously is much, much stronger for him here on wave 4.
Problem is, the consort is going to be stuck on this dino for a bit.
Yeah, true.
See if
the
that
dino probably doesn't die on that side, so maybe this is still going to be elite. 100% here from XGod.
Yeah, the consort is struggling. Oh my god,
XGod 83% leak? What?
Wow.
He did not.
His gun must have just taken full focus there.
He did not expect that.
Holy. I mean, Kingdanzz leaking 67 as well, and Widderson 46.
A bloody game to start.
But I was watching the wrong lane. How did XGod leak so badly there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's 4 snails, right?
Yeah, it was 80, so he probably hit every single snail.
This game. The game of ints is starting.
Oh, and if only this serpent had 20 more hit points, it's not able to fully cover in the mid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, truly.
We've got a pretty high-octane game on our hands, boys. We've got 7 workers on King and X, and we've got 8 workers on Widderson and Shea.
Yes. Widder doing his tier 3 spam, not playing Flying Force, but, still got the tier 3 army. Shea is in a crisis with his gold. I think he should just...
He has to shift here. Like, he's dead on 6 if he doesn't have one of these units upgraded.
He leaks in also, I think. He, full shifts.
Yeah, the Pixie was fine, just to get some DPS on the boss, which he was lacking.
Yeah, decent single target magic damage. It tanks as well a little bit. And what's more, it's going to die for +7.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll skip 6 here, if he gets the Harbinger with that, without sending.
Maybe. If he does get the Harbinger, which he does, without having to send. Probably. But King and Widderson also saving.
I'm a bit confused. Like, I'm not sure where they want to go.
Maybe they just don't want to give a long wave 6, knowing how they're not even that weak on 7 themselves.
Yeah, I was gonna say protecting their 8, maybe, but they aren't even horrible 8s.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their plan is, to be honest. Like, Shea is not leaking 7 and 8.
I think if Shea reaches his coiler here without sending, they might just decide to go one more wave.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, Shea is super strong next.
But he could just as easily put a couple of upgrades on the casket as well. But no, here comes the send. Okay.
They got to 160 Mythium, he couldn't resist the button. Had to press it.
All right, 190 gold on Widderson. Is he going to go for a solo Leviathan? Probably not, now that the Leviathan's been fixed.
It's just like if you have more than 320 Mythium, you have to send the Ram.
Yeah.
It's basically a golden rule.
Look at the Mimic. The guy is just about to snack on everything.
And the Iron Maiden here as well.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
just
an
so
auto
good
hold,
on
I
Wave
think.
7, actually.
Yeah.
And it's very tanky as well. Like, it's going to give the Harbinger time to get those summons out.
It's incredibly tanky, and it will tank the entire split, right?
Yep.
And one of the Brits,
already
you get sniped.
Yeah, even if XGod leaks, this will just full cover.
The Mimic is 1v1ing the canopy. Who's going to win the race?
Penny! This is going to be a penny.
Oh, that's a penny leak. 6% HP on the Mimic. Widderson is furious. I know that I would be. And Kingdanzz, he's leaking as well.
Kingdanzz is leaking too. This is looking very bad for King and Widder.
I mean, sure, XGod leaked, but this was a 160 send, and he leaks a bruise and nothing else, and Shea holds his send.
Cover. Yeah.
This is looking very, very promising for the Canadian duo.
King leaking 7 with his board, like, what is he? What wave is he gonna hold now?
Yeah, I mean, Shea put his carry pants on in the first 2 games. Then he was like, "Alright, XGod, I'll give you a chance to shine too." Like, I don't want the casters to say that I carried you through it. But after like 2 losses, he was like, "Alright, XGod, you had your chance. I'm gonna carry this."
Yeah. And
he's performing incredibly well. Might have also to do with them sending into his strong waves, but details, you know.
Details.
The enabling from XGod.
But XGod was also very strong on 7, right? With his Green Devils, with his gun. So I think King and Widderson just felt forced because they didn't want to give them a long wave 6. But why did they not just income King then?
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, the save was confusing. You can also, as you mentioned, just income King. Or just add some King ups here and there.
Maybe we're gonna see a little wave 10 ogre special again. No king ups from Widder and Kingdanzz.
So Kingdanzz will have his lifesteal decently stacked Kingpin on 10 with good tanks in front as well, and he does have the consort, best unit in the game on wave 10. So maybe. Widderson, meanwhile, he'll have double Leviathan, and he's got solid tanks as well with Yazora, Pack Rat, and Infiltrators. A lot of Swift armor on the field.
Might not be an ogre this time. Maybe something more along the lines of Mimic.
Yeah. Or a Centaur.
Yeah, or a Centaur.
But Shea is actually hot garbage on 10. Shea is not holding wave 10.
He has a coiler.
And an antler.
Yeah, he ain't holding
some
wave 10 if there's a decent.
He can add an Avenger.
But is everyone
can send a lot of Mythium.
Here's the ogre from Shea. Here's Triple Friends from XGod.
Oh, a save. I guess they're on value.
Are they saving for next game?
What? On value for what?
Oh, I guess King is on value.
Yeah. Did they think there's gonna be another game if they lose this? So they thought, well, we might send a Kraken on 1, or
I mean,
what's the idea? I mean, King is very strong. Like he might just hold, but
Widderson ain't holding.
Widderson ain't holding.
He's getting 320. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, that's a big boy send.
Like, sure, he has Swift tanks, which the ogre aren't great against, but like, this ogre's getting to the king.
And that Leviathan goes down, so that's his main source of damage. That's a big leak from Widderson there, 75%. And there's still 2 brutes alive, showing that Kingpin down.
It is a leak. It is a leak, after all.
So we've got 2 bosses.
Will they survive
dead, but there's an ogre and 3 brutes as well. They're taking a ton
there are
of
no
damage.
king ups. The ogre and the brutes do massive damage.
Yeah, I think they're survivors, but man, is this close.
There's AoE. Do they want AoE 12? Probably.
I mean,
Widderson both take the AoE, of course.
Yeah, it looks like
AoE
AoE
are starting to fall into that trap now. Their income's ending.
Okay,
And
Shea...
If XGod receives...
He's got nothing. He needs to... He King Claw?
Yeah, I guess.
He's going
Oh no.
What? This is confusing.
Yeah.
Like,
And the backline priest is also confusing.
He
Like,
just wants
he
magic
has
damage
to
for wave 11.
pick-
He's expecting to send here. So he goes
Yeah,
for
but
magic.
why not build it here? Like, here, instead of in the back. He has to pick Polarizer, though.
And they're not king upgrading either.
I don't understand.
They need to go full king now.
Yeah.
To be honest, the real play, I think, was to AoE resent.
Yeah, also, that's possibly the real play, but if you don't do that, you need the Polarizer on your gun against the big tank.
100%.
Like,
I don't get the Zora for 11.
They would 100% have won with AoE resend, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, Widderson sends a Centaur. You all know how I feel about that.
To be fair, it's versus the gun, so it's gonna be max DPS the whole time. Yeah, like this read is hard because you're expecting AoE 11, but
Phew, I'm getting worried. They might just die here.
Hey, mate?
they're gonna full king at least, so...
Yeah.
Or, wait.
They're incoming, but they need those king upgrades.
I disagree because that gold doesn't matter.
Yeah, I heavily disagree. Like, that's 30 gold, 2 polywalks. I'm not gonna change anything.
And in fact, XGod is sat on 12 gold now, so, you know.
Yeah.
So they're getting some king upgrades in, but they could have a bit more.
Let's see if the seal is gonna do damage here.
Gonna do some damage, but the send is just massive.
It's a lot of
It's
a lot of imps. We'll
There's
see
a
how it
definite
goes.
lethal possibility here.
Yeah, not having max spell here is pretty rough. I mean, the Maiden lets you snipe all the imps.
The casket's already dead, by the way.
Yeah, the imps are also really tanky. Is there the secret power of the imps?
And Shea's Harbinger died just before resummoning. Of course, it gets another one with the Guardian Angel, but
they do live easily here, though. Yeah. Wither is leaking the
actually, XGod did very well here.
Yeah,
leaking just the same on 2 creeps.
I kind of hate the Centaur.
Yeah, I was focused
the
on
Ram was way better.
Oh, of course the Ram was better.
Like, Red Mole is just so good here.
The Centaur just gives his gun free reign against the swift creeps in the wave. And, hello? Oh?
I think they're 130 HP.
There's 130 hit points left on that king.
Oh, jeez. And now it's like straight 15, I guess, for both teams.
Yeah.
And now XGod's build is gonna shine. Like, he does have really good units for 15 now.
Yeah, I would still prefer the Pota to be here.
Yes, it would be better if it used the second part of its ability, but...
Yeah.
It's still
just attack earlier, you know?
It's still pretty solid magic damage though, right? Like, it now does 1 more times 3 on every attack.
Oh yeah, that's actually insane.
I'm not quite sure of the math, but I think that means it does 3 more damage every time it attacks.
You're almost correct, I think.
I wish Julian was still here. Like, he's the mathematician.
Yeah. It's weird how he's so bad at basic math, though.
He doesn't have room to fit everything.
And I think Widderson leaks again to the no send. And I think they do just die this time. Yeah.
What an anticlimactic end!
After this series.
Farming.
Wait, Kingdanzz holding. Kingdanzz is holding. No, the budget no.
Farming the achievement in the tournament finals.
Absolute madman.
The king has 42 hit points. It can take 1 hit.
Oh my.
Oh, but it takes 2. It takes 2.
I got no words.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You played the Shea and XGod though.
Yeah.
And well played to the Wave 13.
Well played to Wave 13. The actual
My
champions of the game.
What?
The drill golems are deadly.
Oh.
What just happened, guys? Like after this super intense 5-game series, we get a lethal to no send on 13, while Widderson's
really
punching 3 pack rats.
Yeah.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, Shea and XGod are probably. I mean, I guess they knew they were winning the game either way, but that's a bit of a relief. They didn't actually have to play Wave 15.
Yeah, I'd assume so.
I'm kind of a bit lost for words there, guys.
Yes.
Didn't really expect the death to no send on 13. But clearly it's all part of Shea's master plan there to just get that emotional damage in early and then make King and Widderson to make some unforced errors there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm also kind of out of words. This is not what I expected to be the finish of the final game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad that it is because it's really funny.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
This is what peak performance looks like.
Yeah.
We are all not capable of holding no sense anymore. Like the Wave 6 League of Winner against the null send.
Yeah.
And now dying on Wave 13. But yeah, like even though we laugh, that's kind of what it actually looks like. If you're like playing on the edge, really on the limit, then things like this apparently happen.
Yeah. I mean, Kingdanzz and Widderson, they knew they were behind, so they were probably just taking every risk that they could, try and find like a one narrow chance of winning the game. And in this
that's
case,
just how they have to go about it.
Yeah. In this case, it backfired. I wonder if they would have gone for a 14 then, by an undercut, perhaps.
Yeah, that could have been the angle.
Yeah, I think...
I'm just not sure it would have been successful, though, because Shea is on insane value. He adds like a second Iron Maiden for 14. He just isn't leaking there.
Yeah.
Yeah.